Why, it's that time again. Yes, Christmas is here, so raise your smiles and glasses. If we're all in lockdown and panic buying continues, we'll be hoping Santa brings us bog roll for our arses. Steve McFadden, full of festive cheer, whilst outside, on his way to Barnard Castle, Dominic Cummings, the ghoulish ghost of Christmas now past. Good riddance to the arsehole. Talking of arseholes, here's Jim Davidson. Starting on the 1st of December, I'll be opening each door of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar right here on the Twitter. It'll go right through Christmas and up to December 31st, the day before Brexit truly kicks in, to make things even shitter. Yes, 2020 has been a year more horrendous than we could ever have believed. So if we must have ourselves a digital Christmas, why not spend it with me and Cold War Steve? See you on December the 1st. Until then, I bid you good day. Who's behind door number 1 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar? Let's have a look. Why, it's some graffiti saying Gary Sambrook eats big dinners. This was written after Tory MP Gary Sambrook voted against feeding starving children during the school holidays. What a charming man. Well, the Tories are quite happy to have 4 million children living in poverty in the UK. So why not starve them as well? At least the Tories are consistent in their utter bastardy. Sambrook took offence at the size of his dinners being exposed in such a public way, even though he had already done that himself many years earlier, when he tweeted in 2013, "My car now stinks after picking up over 30 boxes of fish and chips." Now, I'm no dietitian, but that certainly doesn't sound like a small to medium-sized dinner to me. It's good to see the art of graffiti is still alive and commenting on social and political issues, rather than just being a crudely drawn depiction of a male sex organ, with length and girth statistics written underneath, alongside an explicitly detailed offer of sexual activity, accompanied by a phone number for the reader to call if interested in taking up such a proposal, that you often see written on toilet walls. Which reminds me, I must scrub that off the wall of our downstairs toilet. I don't know who my dad thinks is going to see it written there. Who's behind door number 2 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar? Let's have a look. Why, it's an oversized Sports Direct mug. What a festive treat. Nothing says Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year like an oversized Sports Direct mug, I always say. I think it's their oversized mug anyway. It's hard to tell if it's an oversized mug in a small photo or an undersized photo of a standard-sized mug or something. I don't know, I'm not Brian Cox. It could, of course, be a small mug photographed in close-up, or an oversized mug photographed slightly further away. They say the camera never lies, but what with forced perspective, a photographic technique that uses an optical illusion to make objects appear further away, closer, larger or smaller than they actually are, that statement is clearly utter bollocks. Sports Direct released their first ever Christmas advert this year, featuring a young woman being asked what she wants for Christmas, followed by a fantasy montage featuring lots of different sports. What with all their recent scandals, I'd have thought Sports Direct could have gone for a more realistic depiction of a nativity scene, set in one of their distribution centres, featuring an overworked, underpaid young woman on a 0-hours contract, giving birth in the toilets because she was too scared to take time off in case she lost her job, cutting the umbilical cord with a box cutter, blood all over the floor, and no crib for a bed, but the baby asleep in the toilet sanitary bucket. It wouldn't be the most heartwarming Christmas advert of the year, but at least it would be factually accurate. Merry Christmas. Who's behind? Door number 3 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar. Let's have a look. Why, it's the flamboyantly follically festooned, laughing cavalier lookalike Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen. Bowen, no relation to Bullseye legend Jim Bowen, was the designer of the ill-fated Magical Journey Christmas attraction in Birmingham that famously closed after one day in 2014. It went from Magical Journey to Tragical Journey when parents complained that there was rubbish strewn everywhere, wooden pallets covered in tarpaulins lying around, and children were shocked to see some of Santa's elves standing around smoking. Shocking indeed, as everyone knows that smoking is bad for your elf. Parents complained that Santa's grotty grotto was so tiny that it was making their children feel claustrophobic. Clearly there was no elfin safety. The unkempt garden area needed less ho 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 and more ho ho ho. A joke which works better when seen written down rather than being read aloud, unfortunately. If he were asked to design another Christmas attraction, I'm sure Llewellyn Bowen would reply, "Goodness, Noels, that's in the lap land of the gods." You'll be surprised to hear that I do get asked this a lot by fans who stop me in the street and ask for an elfie, which is fair enough. Yes, this experience was a bit of a rude Ulf awakening, but if I were to be asked to design another Christmas attraction, it would certainly give me claws for thought. But never slay never, or words to that effect. Who's behind? Door number 4 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar. Let's have a look. Why, it's a broken down old Bedford van. Old Cold War is certainly getting cryptic with his Advent Calendar pictures for this year. I feel like I'm trying to explain the clue to a prize on 1970s game show 3-2-1. Hold on, didn't I do a 3-2-1 joke for one of last year's calendar door openings? Maybe. Well, hopefully everyone will be too drunk on mulled wine or eggnog to notice. Plus, I've got 31 of these calendar door openings to do this year. So give me a break, eh? Many of you are probably too young to even remember 3-2-1 anyway. I suppose you'd prefer it if I made references to sexting or getting whiffled on laughing gas in the park or something, eh? Or maybe I should give up these commentaries and just film myself miming to someone else's comedy, because that's what passes for hilarity these days, doesn't it? Oh, look, I'm on TikTok miming to someone else's jokes. Oh, I've got 1 million views. I'm an influencer. Oh, dear, what do I bother? Anyway, talking of vans, we're going to have to get used to seeing miles and miles of vans and lorries queuing up for customs checks, the length and breadth of the UK, when Brexit kicks in on January the 1st. So that's something to look forward to, isn't it? Taking back control. Happy New Year, you... Happy New Year. Who's behind door number 5 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar? Let's have a look. Why, it's a boarded-up Shoe Zone shoe shop. Apparently during lockdown, cut-price shoe shop Shoe Zone have seen a 285% increase in sales of slippers, which is no mean feat. It's strange to see a Shoe Zone shoe shop shut since slippers sold superbly. It seems silly shutting Shoe Zone shoe shop since slipper sales soared skyward. Are Shoe Zone classified as a sole trader? I used to do a paper round wearing my slippers. It was soul-destroying. I know what you're thinking. Here, Joe, put a sock in it. I did make up what I thought was a good shoe-related joke a couple of years ago. Here it is. I was invited to a retirement party at the local shoe factory last week. I didn't go. I thought it would be a load of old cobblers. Here's a question. Why does your thumb get to be named something completely different to your other fingers, yet your big toe, arguably the thumb of your foot, is just called your big toe? Doesn't seem fair, does it? I mean, why isn't your thumb just called your big finger? Anyway, I'd better be on my toes, put my best foot forward and hot-foot it out of here before I get the boot. I'll see you tomorrow. That's if you can sandal more of my punishment. Who's behind door number 6 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar? Let's have a look. Why, it's Kim Jong-un standing outside of a Toby Carvery. Obvs, fun-loving North Korean Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un may be best known for having his family members routinely killed, but should he wish to have a tasty Great British roast at his local Toby Carvery, the warm welcome, cosy atmosphere, and of course famous all-day carvery would ensure that kinfolk killing would be the last thing on laughing boy Kim Jong-un's mind. And should he wish to treat his surviving family members to a hassle-free Christmas roast with all the trimmings, then he should look no further than his local Toby Carvery. Should Kim Jong want a vegetarian Christmas dinner? Well, Toby Carvery can cater for that too. Luckily, Kim Jong-un is obsessed with cheese, which is just as well, because if you do want the Toby Carvery Christmas dinner vegetarian option, the starter is a whole baked camembert, followed by the mains veggie option being a spinach, smoked cheddar, and mushroom pithy. It's essentially a cheese pie. Yes, Kim Jong-un could have the cheesiest Christmas he could ever imagine. Although, having said that, when I typed North Korea into the Find Your Local Carvery search box on the Toby Carvery website, it came back with, "Sorry, no outlets can be found matching your search criteria." Sorry, Kim Jong. Hard cheese. Who's behind door number 7 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar? Let's have a look. Why, it's former Page 3 stunner Samantha Fox and Fleetwood Mac drummer Mick Fleetwood. Shouldn't he be called Mac Fleetwood rather than Mick Fleetwood? Or should the band be called Fleetwood Mick? Though Fleetwood Mick is probably how Mick Fleetwood is listed in the phone book. If they even still make a physical phone book these days, do they? I don't know. Samantha Fox is more commonly referred to as Sam Fox, which makes sense as Sam is short for Samantha, and indeed Sam is short at only 5 foot 1 inches tall, compared to Mick Fleetwood, who is a towering 6 foot 5. Although Fleetwood Mac are primarily a rock band, they were well known for swinging, with band members swapping members, partnering up with each other and then splitting up, leaving the band, rejoining the band, and then getting it on with a different member of the band. If they weren't suing each other, they were screwing each other. Or vice versa, and indeed the other way round. Dirty sods. Samantha Fox is no stranger to the world of rock and roll herself, when in the mid-1980s she traded tits for hits and gave up appearing topless and instead took up appearing on top of the pops, swapping Page 3 for number 3, which was the position her single Touch Me reached in the UK top 10. Ironically, Fleet Foxes is the name of a band, but it has nothing to do with either Mick Fleetwood or Samantha Fox. Unless, of course, the name of their band was inspired by Mick Fleetwood and Sam Fox's stint hosting the Brit Awards in 1989. Though I doubt it, as it was shit. Who's behind door number 8 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar? Let's have a look. Why, it's television presenter Nick Knowles. Nick Knowles, no relation to singer Beyonce Knowles, had quite happily been a regular presence on our television screens for many years, when sadly, in 2017, tragedy struck. Tragedy struck for music lovers, that is, when Nick Knowles released his debut solo album. Yes, every kind of people, a mixture of cover versions and original material. Released on CD and digital download, rocketed to number 92 in the UK album charts. As a gift to fans of comedy, Knowles also made videos to accompany some of the tracks. The video for Nick's cover version of the Joni Mitchell song River is pure comedy gold, as Knowles has clearly ignored all safety warnings and decided to go full David Brent. Hair and beard freshly enhanced by Just for Men, singing, in inverted commas, in a Southern American accent, sat perched on the back of a leather settee in a bare industrial-looking building, surrounded by musicians, and a female backing singer sat adoringly next to him, who only gets to sing backing vocals on one word twice throughout the whole song, which is more than the drummer gets to do, sat silently and awkwardly behind his kit, swaying to the music, again in inverted commas, looking like he's wondering if he remembered to switch the iron off before leaving the house that morning. Last year, when Knowles received a driving ban and a £1,500 fine for speeding and using a mobile phone at the wheel, Nick quipped, "I now keep my mobile phone in the car boot to avoid any temptation." Music lovers will be hoping Knowles takes a similar precaution with his guitar. LOL. Who's behind door number 9 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar? Let's have a look. Why, it's a pair of loafers. The shoes, that is, not Boris Johnson and Jacob Rees-Mogg. Loafers get their name from the fact that they were the most popular style of footwear for bakers in the early 20th century. Of course they don't. That would be ridiculous. The only loafer a baker is interested in is a loaf of bread. Whatever you do, don't get a loafer mixed up with a loofah. Wearing a pair of loafers on your feet out and about could be potentially hazardous, as they would soak up any water from puddles and swell up to 8 times their normal size, making the wearer resemble not only a clown wearing comedy oversized shoes, but also a mime artist walking in slow motion, as the weight of the water would slow your walking motion down to less than a quarter of your usual walking speed. This could, however, create a lucrative impromptu street performance venture, requiring no training whatsoever. So bear that in mind if you want to make a few easy bob on the side as a street clown/mime artist, or if you're an out-of-work baker who needs the dough. Although a baker could always make some new footwear out of shoe pastry. You may be thinking my jokes are a bit stale or even half-baked, but seeing as I'll be doing these commentaries until December 31st, what they lack in quality will be made up for in quantity. A bit like all the shit food that's going to flood the supermarket shelves of the UK post-Brexit. So get ready to be force-fed a thick-cut Brexit sandwich. Yum. Who's behind door number 10 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar? Let's have a look. Why, it's television presenter Anthea Turner and then husband Grant Bovey chomping on chocolate. Anthea Turner faced a massive media backlash after being photographed feasting on a Cadbury's flake, whilst her husband Bovey bit into a Bounty bar in a photograph taken on the couple's wedding day. Fans feared Turner had sold out to the confectionery corporation. Anthea explained, "People would go out of their Milky Way to avoid me on the street. I would hear Snickers or a whisper behind my back every time I'd travel on a double-decker or go on a picnic. People looked at me as if I was from Mars or another galaxy. It got so as my mind was all curly-whirly in a twirl, and I wouldn't leave the house after 8. If I was asked about it, I would quickly fudge an answer and change the topic." Grant, my then husband, loved the attention. He revels in it, which annoyed me. I thought, how dairy milk it? But I wasn't just going to roll over and put up with them all teasers, and I knew it wouldn't work out between Grant and me, so one day it came to the crunch, and I said, "We need to take time out. Give me your key and get out. Life is no bed of roses, but things are better now. I've moved to a lovely area, a real quality street. My family have been heroes, and I've got a new partner, which has given me a boost. So we look forward to getting married and sharing future celebrations." However, when I asked Anthea if she would be prepared to pose with some more confectionery during her next wedding photos, she kicked me squarely in the cream eggs? Who's behind door number 11 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar? Let's have a look. Why, it's DJ Dave Lee Travis in a car. He may be a disc jockey, but that doesn't mean OAP DJ DLT straddles a vinyl record and rides it on a turntable in races against fellow disc jockeys also named David. But what if he did? I, for one, would like to be a spectator of such a surreal race between septuagenarian steel wheel spinners Dave Lee Travis, David Kidd Jensen, and octogenarian jockey of discs Diddy David Hamilton. 3 hi-fi systems, evenly spaced. The turntable would of course be on top of the hi-fi system, which would have to bear the body weight of our disc jockeys, who would need to cock a leg over their respective hi-fis, to then mount the turntable and then carefully lower their DJ derrieres onto the vinyl record itself, without skewering their arse or giblets on the centre spindle. Once in place, and assuming the stack system hasn't collapsed totally or partially, each rider would then somehow have to move the tone arm towards the centre of the record they are sitting on to get the turntable to spin in order for the race to commence. Even then, there's no guarantee the turntable would actually be able to spin and that any sort of race could actually take place. It could end up just being the bizarre spectacle of 3 elderly DJs clambering onto unstable hi-fi systems whilst Dave Lee Travis's trademark quack quack oops plays continuously on a loop as they struggle to steady themselves and maintain some dignity whilst their not-so-trusty stereo steeds give way beneath them, collapsing in a mess of broken hi-fi equipment and furious red-faced OAP disc jockeys colouring the air blue with expletives. Either way, I would pay good money to watch it. Who's behind door number 12 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar? Let's have a look. Why, it's Sir Clifford of Richardshire. Fans of the octogenarian rocker are reeling from the revelation that only now, at the age of 80, has Cliff Richard learned how to clean his toilet. This shocking confession came from Cliff in an interview with Lorraine Kelly. One distraught fan took to social media to voice their revulsion at Richard's rectal-related revelation. If Cliff has only now learned to clean his toilet, what kind of state has Cliff's Kazi been in for the past however many decades? If he never cleaned his toilet, he probably didn't bother to wipe his arse either, and definitely didn't wash his hands. He must absolutely reek. They continued. I'm disgusted. Cliff's reputation is now soiled beyond recognition, a bit like his turd-tarnished toilet and skid-mark-encrusted underpants. No wonder Carrie doesn't live there anymore. She was probably driven away by the stench of Cliff's Richard III's skidded toilet bowl. My pretty one? My shitty one, more like. I always dreamed of being invited to Cliff's house for an intimate a cappella performance of some of his many chart toppers, except for the ones where he keeps going on about God. But it looks like I had a lucky escape, because upon entering Cliff's house, you'd immediately be stunned by the stench of Cliff Richard's greatest shits. Yes, Cliff may have had 14 number 1s, but it's his number 2s that would linger in the mind and nostrils after a visit to one of his guff-reeking gaffs. I'm going to return all my Cliff Richard LPs to Woolworths the first chance I get. He should change his name to Whiff Richard. In the interview, Cliff Richard also revealed he is no longer a UK resident. So not only have we got Brexit to deal with, we've also got to handle Cliffxit. Merry Cliffmas. Who's behind door number 13 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar? Let's have a look. Why, it's Well, it's mainly a picture of a random gammon man. Hold on. Random gammon man. I think I feel a song coming on. Here we go. Random gammon man. Random gammon man. Random gammon man, not a gammon ham, but they do look similar, hence the name. Hence the name. Hence the name. Random gammon man. Random gammon man. Random gammon man with his top off, what a surprise. They walk around topless, even when it's cold outside. Random gammon man, we don't want to see your gammon flesh. Get some clothes on, mate, before you catch your death of cold. Hard Brexit, here it comes. That cold, hard Brexit, yeah. Random gammon man, we're crashing out of the EU. Random gammon man, so the billionaires can avoid more tax. Random gammon man, January 1st will feel like April 1st. Random gammon man, cause the joke's on me and you. Here comes a cold, hard Brexit. So Boris Johnson's billionaire donors cold, hard Brexit can make a killing betting against the cold, UK economy. Brexit. Take the strain, here comes the pain. Cold, hard Brexit. Take the strain, here comes the pain. Random gammon man. Don't believe the lies written random in the papers man. Owned by billionaire tax avoiders. Pitting us against each other whilst they screw all of us over and over and over and over and over and over. That song will be released on January the 1st, exclusively in Our Price and Woolworth stores. Who's behind door number 14 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar? Let's have a look. Why, it's an old bee-jam shop. Bee-jam. Isn't that another name for honey? Bee-jam were a popular frozen food shop whose bizarre promotional tagline was "We're hot," which seems not only misleading, but also counterproductive, as the last thing you want a frozen food shop to be is hot. With that tagline, I'm surprised they didn't have a television advert featuring actor John Thor. Or singer Mel Torme. Melt or May. Rather than "We're hot," Bee-jam's tagline should have been "We're fucking freezing," which would not only be an attention-grabbing tagline, but it would reassure customers of the quality of Bee-jam's freezer capabilities. Maybe I should be in advertising. But no. Bee-jam went for "We're hot," which resulted in them being bought out by Iceland in the late 80s, with the Bee-jam name disappearing forever. If only they had come to me, then maybe they would still be around today. I would have employed game show host and all-round entertainer Bruce Forsyth to star in the advertising campaign. Standing in a Bee-jam shop, surrounded by customers, he could have started the television advert with "It's ice to see you, to see you," and the customers could have shouted "Ice" in response. And after our Brucey points out all the amazing offers in store, he could have ended the advert with "Bee-jam, we're fucking freezing, freezing we fucking are." Sadly, Bee-jam's time on our high streets came to an abrupt end. A bit like this. Who's behind door number 15 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar? Let's have a look. Why, it's footballer Wayne Rooney licking a massive lollipop. Rooney was lolly-do-lally, as he revealed in an interview with me inside my head just now. Wayne explained, "I was hooked on lollies, me. My football teammates would constantly extract the Michael because of my love for lollies. Well, that and my penchant for porking pensioners. While they were downing cans of Top Deck and Shandy Bass, I was slurping on Whistle Pops and generic flat round lollies. And whilst they had pictures on their bedroom walls of Sam Fox, the girl in the opening titles of Tales of the Unexpected, and that poster of the tennis girl scratching her arse, I had pin-ups of Beryl Reid, Thora Hird and Irene Handel. Anyway, I was in lollipop paradise. I was chomping on normal-sized lollies during football practice, and I had my giant lolly at home to lick on special occasions. Until one day, I was in a hotel room the night before one of our games, and I was reading a comic, and in the story Walter the Softy was eating a lovely orange lollipop, when suddenly Dennis the Menace hit a wasp nest with a stick, and the angry wasps, flying in an arrow-shaped formation, chased Walter until he jumped into a pond to escape. I thought, blimey, that could happen to me. I burst out crying. What if angry wasps tried to attack my house to get to my giant lolly? One of my teammates asked me what was wrong. Wasps! I blurted out, wiping tears from my eyes. My teammate replied, we're not playing wasps. Our game is against Chelsea tomorrow. Anyway, wasps are a rugby team, not football. But I wasn't listening. I grabbed my comics and Teddy and ran home in my Action Man pyjamas and threw my giant lolly away. From then on I vowed, no more lollies. I'll stick to what I do best. Kicking a football about? No, shagging gilfs. Lol. Who's behind? Door number 16 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar. Let's have a look. Why, it's... Whoa, what is that smell? It's the foul stench of corruption, lies, deceit, negligence and ineptness, which can only mean one thing. Yes, it's Bozo Johnson and his clown car criminal cartel cabinet of corrupt cretins captured in Crown Court as top-notch tash-tastic detective Tosh takes a team of atrocious Tories to task for terrible transgressions. What a reprehensible rogues gallery of reprobates in this roll call of lying lags. Boris Johnson. This bungling buffoon puts the blight in Blighty. Dominic Raab. Somewhere a village is missing their idiot, though they're probably glad to see the back of him. Dominic Cummings. The Westminster weasel and parliamentary pantomime villain. Cummings gone. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Jacob Rees-Mogg. Victorian grown-up Walter the Softy from the Beano, made from haunted wood. Matt Hancock. The socially awkward in-betweeners-esque priapic parliamentary prick, promoted way above his ability. Gavin Williamson. Frank Spencer without the laughs, who could find his arse if he had a map, but he lost it. Priti Patel. The Wicked Witch of Westminster, makes Rose West look like Mother Teresa. Michael Gove. The snivelling pob-faced baby naked mole rat, still coated in amniotic fluid. Never, in the field of human government, was so much screwed for so many by so few. Who's behind? Door number 17 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar. Let's have a look. Why, it's Mastermind himself, Dense Dullard Dominic Raab, the Westminster village idiot. Thick as mints Raab, who was shocked to discover Britain was separated from France by an expanse of water, was nicknamed the Turnip by Brussels Brexit negotiators, as Raab is similar to Raap, the Dutch word for turnip, and they called him Turnip because Raab had given it the big 'un, talking tough about being a hard, fully briefed negotiator. Yet when confronted by Michel Barnier, Dominic folded like an old deck chair, resigned as Brexit secretary, and ran away with his arse handed to him on a plate. That was a turnip for the books. You'd have thought a turnip would do well with Brussels. Yes, vegetable-headed Dominic Raab has a habit of talking radish. Raab has a varied taste in music. His favourite song by Prince is Little Red Courgette. He's also a fan of US rapper will.i.am. His favourite actor is Benedict Cucumberpatch. Raab's favourite James Bond films are The Spy Who Loved Pea and Tomorrow Never Dies. His favourite James Bond is Pierce Brosnan. Although his all-time favourite film, I've started so I'll spinach, his all-time favourite film is Die Charred. Dominic Raab, you have no points and no parsnips. No more vegetable puns for today. I'm afraid that shallot. Who's behind door number 18 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar? Let's have a look. Why, it's miniature miscreant Member of Parliament Mark Francois. For the past few months, it's been a real-life Westminster Where's Wally, as this a-hole has gone AWOL in an unexplained disappearance. Francois, a cross between a far-right Jerry the Mouse and Family Guy Peter Griffin, is pictured here with a normal-sized toffee hammer. I think he's going to use it to hit the mousetrap so he can steal the cheese and take it back to his nest. Of course, having an infestation of Mark Francois in your home is no laughing matter, and could be potentially life-threatening if he chews through electrical wires or gas lines. Being territorial, he will urinate and defecate in the area he wishes to maintain. So small fecal pellets and a smell of urine may be the first signs of an infestation of Mark Francois you notice in your home. Although you may have also heard some faint xenophobic squeaking about Brexit emanating from behind a cupboard or gas cooker. Due to his fondness for snacks, crisps and sweets, Mark Francois is known for making his nest near a food source, which would make your food susceptible to contracting Francois disease, and could result in you or a member of your family becoming an insufferable bellend. This may be evidenced in certain cockwomble behaviour, such as repeatedly voting against a right to remain for EU nationals already living in the UK, despite being of European parentage yourself. The fact that Mark Francois has not been seen in Parliament or in public for many months is a welcome relief for all those averse to small-minded bigotry. And we can only hope the removal of the parliamentary infestation of Mark Francois has been successful, and we can say au revoir, Francois. Who's behind door number 19 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar? Let's have a look. Why, it's a photo of an Anne Widdecombe, captured feeding in her natural habitat. This bizarre, unkempt buzzard is mainly nocturnal, using her swivel eyes to locate her prey, before galumphing after it, shrieking in a broken squawk about Brexit and using xenophobic references to World War II, which eventually either bores her prey to death, or her prey will gladly accept death as a preferable alternative to listening to more of her venomous, frenzied screeching. Rarely mating or breeding with her own species, the Anne Widdecombe will often stick close to a member of the forage toad family, revelling in their shared bigotry and thinly veiled racist warblings. Well, thanks for that informative description, David. My pleasure. Yes, and... Is that it? Yes, thank you, David. Oh, I didn't know if you wanted me to hang around a bit longer. Why's that? Well, I know you've got 31 of these Cold War Steve Advent Calendar door openings to do, and if I milked it a bit longer, you would have enough material for the full 2 minutes and 20 seconds of this Twitter video. True. Thank you, David. You're a legend. That's Sir David. I know. Well, say it then. Pardon? Say it! Thank you, Sir David. That's better. Didn't hurt, did it? And look, time's up. Brilliant. Who's behind door number 20 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar? Let's have a look. Why, it's, who the Well, looking at the white shirt and jeans combo and what appear to be Cuban-heeled boots for that extra height lift, it looks like a picture of Simon Cowell, but in the wrong aspect ratio. Then again, it could be David Cameron. OK, it looks like David Cameron to me, so let's go with that. Yes, it's ex-Prime Minister David Cameron, who became embroiled in Piggate when it was revealed he tried to create a pig in a blanket of his own by inserting his Member of Parliament, or if you will, pork sword, into a pig's head as part of initiation into some not-so-secret society for tossers, whilst at Oxford University. Porker-poking pig prodder past PM Cameron recently released his tedious memoirs entitled For the Record. Hog-humping Cameron's hogwash-heavy hardback really is a bore. He should have called it Telling Porkies, How I Did to the Country What I Did to That Pig's Head, seeing as he triggered the EU referendum, realised what a ham-fisted pig's ear he had made of the country and hoofed it on his trotters for some other swine to deal with. So come January the 1st, when Brexit goes the whole hog, and even the most die-hard Brexiteer realises they were told porky pies and were sold a pig in a poke, remember that thanks to oink-boinking bacon banger David Cameron, we'll all be wallowing in Brexit for a long time to come. Who's behind door number 21 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar? Let's have a look. Why, it's crumbs. That really does take the biscuit. Yes, it's a big tin of Family Circle biscuits. Yes, all your favourites are here, from the ornately carved majesty of the classic custard cream, to the whimsical frivolity of the pink wafer that always seemed to be stale, even in a freshly opened tin. But you ate it anyway. Sadly, since this photograph was taken, Family Circle has changed hands many times and is now produced by McVitie's, and the pink wafer has since disappeared, along with the UK's xenophilia, integrity, and standing in the world, since we decided to risk it for a biscuit and plump for Brexit, screwing everything up, including our biscuit assortment. So expect the Nice biscuit to become notable by its absence too. come January 1st. Where once as a nation we were cheerfully chomping on a diverse assortment, we're now putting the lid on the tin, dunking our national digestive in the tepid mug of xenophobic tea, integrity compromised, collapsing into a massive, mushy mess. And when the Brexit cookie crumbles and we close our European family circle, we'll become a nation of inbred British biscuit bigots. Or something. I may be getting a bit Brexit and biscuit befuddled. However, I can rotate a rich tea biscuit on a horizontal axis in my mouth without breaking it. Beat that. Who's behind? Door number 22 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar. Let's have a look. Why, it looks like Cold War Steve has made a mistake. This is another picture of Boris Johnson and his cabinet. Actually, this is in fact some classic white crumbly dog shit that we used to see a lot of in the 1970s and early 80s. Then mysteriously, it went the way of Texan bars, Pacers and Quattro, suddenly vanishing and disappearing from our grass verges, parks and the soles of our shoes and trainers. This crumbly white dog shit had had its day. Then strangely, after the EU referendum, white crumbly dog shit began making a reappearance around the UK. A coincidence? I think not. Like a foreboding fecal phantom, a shitty spectre of poos past and feces future. It seems the white crumbly dog shit has returned to warn us of the Brexit ahead. I would like to apologise for my earlier joke comparing Boris Johnson and his cabinet to crumbly white dog shit. It was very unfair. It was very unfair to crumbly white dog shit, which would do a much better job of governing the UK than this government of excrement, with Boris Johnson being more number 2 than number 10, and his caca cabinet of MPs, manure and poop, inflicting utter defecation upon this nation. Let's flush away this crap ASAP. Who's behind? Door number 23 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar. Let's have a look. Why, it's... Oh my God. I'm getting déjà vu. That's Slobodan Praljak behind door number 23. I'm having a flashback to 2018. Slobodan Praljak behind door number 23. Slobodan Praljak behind door number 23. Behind door number 23 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar. Let's have a look. Why, this is in fact a picture of convicted Bosnian war criminal Slobodan Praljak. Nice. In his blurred hand is a thermos beaker full of liquid he is about to consume, but far from being a tasty Christmas punch, creamy seasonal eggnog, or warming mulled wine that would bring on a feeling of relaxation, merriment, and mirth, he is actually just about to ingest a cocktail of a more sinister recipe, potassium cyanide, which will result in unconsciousness, cardiac arrest, and ultimately death. Slobodan Praljak behind door number 23. Forget the Da Vinci Code. Have I just stumbled upon the Cold War Steve Code? What's he trying to tell us? Is this some kind of psychic prediction or Premonition is this Cold War Steve in 2018 reaching out across the mists of time to us here in 2020 to warn us? Or is it some secret coded message? What could it mean? Or maybe Cold War Steve just thought, sod it. I've got 31 calendar door openings to do this year. I'll just recycle material from the 2018 calendar. Bang out of order. Fancy doing a thing like that? Who's behind door number 24 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar? Let's have a look. Why, it's a goblin meat pudding. They come in a red plastic tub about the size of a large yogurt. On the back of the pack it says proudly at the top, meat pudding with beef. What else is in it? Meat is a bit vague and disconcerting. Under the ingredients that you may not want to read before you eat it, it says, made in a factory also handling nuts. I do hope they wash their hands. You cook, in inverted commas, it in a microwave for 90 seconds or in a pan of boiling water for 20 minutes. When you peel off the lid, it really is a gruesome sight. Pale brown and grey-looking slimy meat with a soggy fatty crust around it. It's like looking at remains dug up in a serial killer's back garden. Out of the tub and on the plate, it's a weird, unhealthy-looking sight. A squashy mound of fat-stained rubbery pastry. When you push a spoon into it, the pudding bounces back against the pressure, as if warning the potential eater, abandon hope, all ye who enter here. If you do proceed despite the pudding fighting back, once your spoon has penetrated the outer casing and you scoop away a section of the pastry, the contents are revealed. A mushy mess that looks as though it's been pre-chewed and spat back out. It really does resemble more of an autopsy or forensic examination, rather than a foodstuff about to be consumed by a human. A grisly sight I think even Quincy would find difficult to observe, let alone eat. Well, I certainly won't be gobbling that up. When I asked for a mince pie, this definitely wasn't what I had in mind. Who's behind door number 25 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar? Yes, it's Christmas Day at last. So what magical, wondrous, festive delights will Cold War Steve have for us behind the Christmas Day door? A jolly Santa emptying his sack. Cliff Richard swaying violently from side to side, singing mistletoe and wine. Or perhaps it'll be a picture of Nigel Farage standing beside a nativity scene, complaining that the people of Bethlehem have had quite enough of refugees coming over here giving birth to the baby Jesus in their barns. Well, let's have a look. Why, it's Funland. Yes, it's the Funland Arcade in Grimsby. I have to say, fun looks in short supply here. Change that F for a P, and you have a place that I like to frequent as often as possible. Change that P for an N, and you get a niche interest adult website. I imagine... Well, season's greetings, everyone. And remember, this Advent calendar is also Cold War Steve's Countdown to Brexit calendar. So there will be doors opened until December 31st. After that, the UK will be slamming them shut, locking them, and peeking out of our windows behind the curtains. Who's that? Who's that there? Little Britain, small-minded little... Yes, this Cold War Steve calendar is the gift that keeps on giving. Whereas come January the 1st, we'll have the Brexit that keeps on shitting. Merry Christmas. Who's behind door number 26 of the Cold War Steve Advent Calendar? Well, it's Boxing Day. Advent officially ended on the 24th. So really, I should be saying who's behind door number 26 of the Cold War Steve Advent / countdown to Brexit calendar. Talking of Brexit, with the miles and miles of thousands of lorries that have been queuing up gridlocked in Kent, it's given us a little preview of what we've got to look forward to with Brexit. Or in keeping with the haulage theme, it's given us a Brexit trailer. Right, well, let's have a look. Why, it's a luncheon voucher acceptance sign. Luncheon vouchers are used to subsidise meals for employees who work in companies without their own cafeteria. Except for the police force, of course, who are given truncheon vouchers. That literally is the only luncheon voucher joke in existence. Or am I thinking of the truncheon meat sandwich joke? Anyway, if you hear a squeaking sound, it'll be the bottom of the barrel as I try and scrape out a few more luncheon voucher-related gags from this already empty comedy vessel. Right, here we go. Do boxers get punch-in vouchers? Did the residents of the City of Oz in The Wizard of Oz pay for their food with munchkin vouchers? Maybe S&M sex workers get dungeon vouchers. Funnily enough, luncheon vouchers were used as payment for sex acts performed in Cynthia Payne's brothel in the 1970s. I don't know what gentlemen would receive at a brothel in exchange for luncheon vouchers. Probably just a nosh. Soz, that joke was a bit fruity. A bit like a Christmas cake. LOL. Who's behind door number 27 of the Cold War Steve Advent / countdown to Brexit calendar? Live! Yes, today's calendar door opening is happening live. One take, no editing, live, right now. Anything could happen. It could all go wrong, or I may swear by accident. Ooh! Yes, you'll hear every breath, mouth noise, tongue click, and lip smack, which will be a bonus for you ASMR audio perverts who get off on that sort of thing. Watching videos on the internet of people pretending to be librarians whispering into their microphones, as if they're whispering into your ear. But it's not sexual. Oh no, of course it isn't, you dirty audio sods. Anyway, let's have a look. Why, it's ex-EastEnders Ricky! Butcher actor Sid Owen. He's the actor Sid Owen. I'm not saying he's a butcher. His name's Sid Owen. He plays the character Ricky Butcher. It's Sid Owen. Sid Owen, pictured here on the cover of his cover version single of the song Good Thing Going, originally sung by Michael Jackson. You don't need me to tell you that Owen's version of this song really is bad. And by bad, I mean bad as in bad, not bad as in good, which is what Michael Jackson meant when he sung bad in his song called Bad. He wasn't saying he thought he was bad as in bad, he was saying he thought he was bad as in good, I think. I don't know why he didn't just call the song Good or Not Bad to avoid the confusion, but there you go. I mean, what do I know? I guess that's why I am where I am and he is where he is. I mean, he is where he is, as in one of the top-selling music artists of all time, not he is where he is, as in dead. Anyway, I digress. Yes, Ricky butchers this song, see what I did there, turning it into a limp Peter Andre-esque exercise in blandness. It makes Nick Knowles sound like Nick Cave. I think what Cold War Steve is saying with his choice of picture here is that a good thing is going, in that our current relationship with the EU is going due to Brexit. Isn't he clever? It'll be Sir Cold War Steve come the New Year's honours list, you mark my words. Oh look, well, time's up, at least I didn't accidentally say fuck. Who's behind door number 28 Of the Cold War Steve was previously for Advent but has now become a countdown to Brexit calendar. Let's have a look. Why, it's the paper label on the 7-inch vinyl single for the band The Blow Monkeys' 1987 hit song It Doesn't Have to Be This Way, which reached number 5 in the UK singles chart. Another cryptic picture that shows Cold War Steve has gone full-on 3-2-1 prize clue. He'll probably change his name from Cold War Steve to Brexit Ted Rogers. The Brexit prize clue was a bright, shiny red bus with £350 million a week for our NHS emblazoned across it. But just like the prize clues on 321, after a long, meandering, confusing, nonsensical, unravelling revelation of what we are actually going to get, it's revealed we've won, in inverted commas, dusty bin. But this Brexit dusty bin also comes round your house, trashes it, shits your bed and curtains, sets your house on fire and slaps you in the face and knees you in the bollocks before locking you in. On an earlier door-opening video, one commenter complained that they thought my videos would be more informative rather than just being cheap gags. Well, complaining commenter, this one's for you. The song It Doesn't Have to Be This Way by the Blow Monkeys is featured in the film Police Academy 4 Citizens on Patrol, which was the last film in the series to feature actor Steve Guttenberg, who was unavailable due to filming his role in 3 Men and a Baby, which also starred Cheers sitcom actor Ted Danson, who appeared in the film Made in America, alongside Whoopi Goldberg, who starred in the box office hit film Ghost with Patrick Swayze, star of Dirty Dancing, the classic 80s film that features on its soundtrack the song You Don't Own Me by the Blow Monkeys. Put that on your turntable and spin it. Who's behind? Door number 29 of the Cold War Steve. No longer Advent, but is now a Brexit countdown calendar. Let's have a look. Why, it's Her Madge the Queen. Yes, it's old ER herself, the Queen, who at the beginning of the pandemic said, "You can be assured my family and I stand ready to play our part," and then promptly got the hell out of Dodge, leaving Buckhouse and London sharpish, along with her racist old road menace husband, Prince Philip, doing a runner and buggering off to Windsor Castle, to swan around eating swans and being waited on hand and foot by their army of servants and leaving us all to it. Cheers, Liz. I don't know how as a nation we would have managed without you playing your part by hiding away in a massive castle, sitting on your royal rear end, biting the heads off live swans. Probably. Oh well, there goes the knighthood. All I'm saying is, if people like the royal family hadn't been wolfing down wild swans, we may not have had a coronavirus pandemic in the first place. Apparently, this picture is taken at the opening of the Millennium Dome on New Year's Eve 1999. The Queen looks like she's got the right hump. Can't blame her, really. I don't think this is what Prince meant when he sang about partying like it's 1999. This was 1999, and party-wise it looks like a right load of old shite. Talking of shite, 2020 has been a great big steaming pile. Let's hope 2021 is more fragrant for us all. And leave the swans alone, Mom. Who's behind? Door number 30 of the Cold War Steve countdown to Brexit calendar. Let's have a look. We had been adrift for days. Our food had long since run out, and the only water we had to drink was whatever rainwater we could catch in our hands. We sensed we were a mile, maybe two, from dry land and safety, but with broken pieces of wood and our own hands as paddles, and in total complete darkness. Land may as well have been 200 miles away. Then suddenly, "Look!" someone shouted. "An angel!" A female form, with long flowing hair, features hidden by the darkness, but her hands beckoning us toward her. She was showing us the way to safety. With renewed determination and strength coming from I know not where, I joined the others and paddled as hard and as fast as I could toward our angelic saviour. The darkness began to clear, and there it was, land, safety. All I could think about was my dearest Emma. Maybe I would see her face again after all. We whooped and cheered with joy as we approached salvation, and the angel now stood on the shore, beckoning us toward home. When suddenly, crash! The jubilation turned instantly to horror as our already damaged vessel smashed into rock. The angel now let out a demonic shriek of twisted pleasure as our craft disintegrated and we were flung helpless into the icy depths. A wave scooped me up and sent me head first into a jagged rock. Then darkness. The darkness began to fade into a greyish light as my eyes opened. Not only was I alive, but I was now on dry land. Somehow I raised my weary body from its sandy bed and stood up. Bodies of my fellow passengers littered the shoreside. I turned away from this sight of utter devastation and headed towards town. Before I knew it, I was home. At last, I would see my beloved Emma. Quietly, I entered the house and was just about to climb the stairs when I heard a tap on the front door. I turned towards the door and opened it. There stood Priti Patel. "I have your passport," she smirked. "Passport to hell." She then let out a horrifying, piercing shriek that I realized I had heard before. When suddenly we were no longer in the home I shared with my beloved Emma, but were now standing on the shoreside, surrounded by the bodies of my shipmates, which now lay in two neat piles. Still shrieking, with a wild look of ecstasy in her eyes, Priti Patel pointed down to the second pile of bodies. "That body looks like... No, it can't be. It's me!" I stood, paralyzed, in fear, shock and bewilderment, as she continued to shriek, advancing towards me, mouth opening wide. Her long equine teeth opened like the gates of hell, for the gateway to hell they were, and hell was she. My dizziness became a swirling vortex as I felt my very soul devoured and sent to a place of darkness from which it could never escape. Who's behind? Door number 31 of the Cold War Steve Advent nay countdown to Brexit calendar. Let's have a look. Why? It's the best of Britain in all its diverse, multicultural might. Together we will succeed while fascism fails, as it always will. Everything is going to be all right. Goodbye, 2020. and good riddance. You really have been shite. 2021 brings the promise of a better year. Everything is going to be all right. It's easy to believe the world is full of bad people, as they make the loudest noise and fill the news day and night. But there's more good people in the world that we rarely hear of, quietly doing amazing things. Everything is going to be all right. Brexit is upon us, a tax-avoiding scam for the rich, dressed up as British sovereignty, control and fishing rights. But Brexit is not forever, and all is not lost. Everything is going to be all right. So dance as Harold Bishop plays his tuba, as even the greatest darkness is destroyed by the smallest light. Sing loud, laugh long, love all, fear not. Everything is going to be all right.